Morning TV viewers, is still Daybreak Africa reaching you here from my studios in Ondo City. Of course, I'm Ezekiel. Okay, this morning we'll be talking on matters of insecurity in the nation of Nigeria. Now, recently we had an issue as regarding the Ekiti students, or people rather, being adopted, and with a ransom for 15 million naira requested. It means that we have the EFCC coming out to say some religious sects tend to launder money and sponsoring of terrorism and things like that. Now, I guess, like we said earlier with Michael, it's been more like every morning and every week we have something to talk about, and not something really positive. There's always something negative to really talk about. And when it comes to EFCC, coming out to say we have religious sects now, that are into sponsoring terrorism and, money laundering, we really tend to ask ourselves if we have failed in every sector in Nigeria, and now our religious sector is being affected with this menace. Now, with us in the house to talk on this topic is Damilola Olagunju. Welcome on Daybreak Africa.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program. All right. As a public affairs analyst, we'll be talking about the insecurity issues in Nigeria. But now, if we look at the insecurity situation as of this moment, I can't say it's a new situation. It has been for a very long time. It's a situation that I feel like it's not a thing we can really take off, but at least we should see some things. Now, the terrorism issue, or let's say the allegation against a religious body by the anti-graft agency, talking about the money laundering and the rest. As a Nigerian, as at this moment, what is your take on that whole issue?
Well, for me, I think it shouldn't really be a news to us, because I think one of the sector of the Nigerian system to easily get into is the religious aspect, because virtually it's not easy to question. Everybody believes, okay, since you just pose yourself as a religious leader, every Tom, Dick and Harry just believe you because, oh, you are holy. So I think for me, it's not really a news. It's just because maybe time over time, we, the Nigerian citizenry have been not really been, up to tax, questioning things as it may be. We just take everything, especially if it comes through the religious sector of the Nigerian system. So we just take everything as it comes. So I think it's just, if that kind of news is coming up, definitely it just show how, lackadaisical we have been to certain sectors of the Nigerian system.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to that particular news, we're talking about the EFCC chairperson coming to see to make such statement. I think it's quite laughable to some extent. It's quite questioning. I mean, he's coming out to make such statement, but not really informing Nigerians whether or not that a sector or that religious house was then to captured. What was done about it, or is he just informing us just for us to be aware? I mean.
Well, I wouldn't say they are just informing us to be aware, and they are also informing us to be aware.
But no one has been arraigned so far, no face on the flyers or on the poster on the billboard.
The Nigerian system is funny. There's a way we seem to place people or put people on some kind of, to let them know what's going on without really opening them up to the situation. And that, basic line, like I've said earlier, is every Tom, Dick and Harry can just come and deceive the average Nigerian. So, EFCC coming out, when I read through the news, I was just expecting them to mention maybe the so-called sect, even long before now, the issue of terrorism, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, we can say, oh, at a point is this sect, at a point was this sect, And when it relates to religion in the Nigerian state, it has to be done with wisdom. Considering the fact that we have a whole lot of issues on ground, especially when we come to religion. Don't forget, we top the chart of one of the most prayerful countries in the whole world. So when it comes to religion, I believe that to an extent, it's a wisdom on the part of this EFC, the anti-graft agency, not to mention that sect, not to aggravate the issue on ground. But also, let's look at days ahead if something is going to come out from that particular sector. But for me, I believe when it comes to religion, in this Nigeria that we are, it is really...
Okay, I want to try to understand the part when you said wisdom is being applied. Fine. We want to understand diplomacy, we want to understand wisdom, but also we have to understand duty. Now, as you also read through, I read through the news and I looked at most of the speeches from the chairman of the EFCC. They are more interested, if I get it, in recovering the laundered amount, the money. Now, the security, the preservation of goods and lives and properties of Nigerians are not even really in the context. Just we are going to investigate and we are going to recover the money back. Nobody's talking about we are going to bring out. Now we understand that behind the scene, there are some very powerful bodies that might possibly be pulling strings.
Definitely.
Now, if I want to understand duty, duty is, yes, we've found them guilty. We want to bring them to book. We are going to announce their name. So we are going to be sure that these are the people at fault. But now we have situation of, okay, we had some religious body, they are Christian, but now we don't even know. Of course, if you can identify that they are Christians, so what is stopping them from performing their duty of bringing them to book and say, okay, these are the real body that are against it? Or let's say, is it that the body of the whole security system is being controlled by some body or known body at the underground?
Well, you see, for that, I think when this, as for me, I was expectant too, because I believe people who are well-to-do and are actually related to virtually all religious bodies were at the meeting. The Sultan of Sokoto, the Oni of Ife, the Vice President, and all other people were, at the meeting. But for me, I think this, don't let us forget the essence of EFCC. There's, as much as relate to security on that matter, they will need a joint force, for me, in my own view, to actually be able to fully bring that kind of information. Doing it alone, their own is anti-graft agency, look into money laundering. For me, I believe that in that kind of case, we should have maybe some sort of joint task force who will be able to, maybe the military, since it's relating to life and property, I believe the joint task force, the military or the police should also be at that kind of briefing. Not seeing that should even give us some questions in our heart that, okay, you've seen this, has it been handed over to the right headquarters? What are they doing currently? Because to me, I just believe that there are some certain things that are happening behind the door that they are not, maybe some force, bringing to the, working against the EFCC chairman, maybe prioritizing him or so. But if there is a joint work, joint force coming together on that particular subject, with me, as I am, I'm still hoping that in the shortest time possible, we are going to have a release concerning that. Since it relates to religion, security of life and property, and and the Nigerian economy, because definitely we believe that if that kind of money is recovered, Nigerian economy is going to be a bit better, and they are all invested.
Now, recently, the presidency condemns insecurity report in the nation, comparing us with other nations. For example, comparing us with other nations of South Africa. Now, I just hope we won't get to a point where we'll start being compared to nations as Afghanistan or Iraq or Iran, because I really don't see reasons why we'll start comparing the issue of security with other nations. But nonetheless, I tend to wonder, do you believe we tend to say, we tend to talk as regarding insecurity maybe beyond proportion in this nation to some extent, because with the way the president is making it sound, it's more like we tend to just overhab this issue of insecurity. It's more like we just add up to make it seem as if it's one massive thing, whereas it's just more probably just something we could just discard in
You see, there's a problem we have in Nigeria, and I think it's in virtually every household. We have many schooled individuals but not educated. It's easy to deceive people who are schooled. Take for instance, we say when it comes to let's say sport, we say we are giant of Africa. But when it comes to issues that relate to life and property, like security, like we're talking about, or economy, we're trying to find one underperforming country to compare and contrast our issue with. Whereas when it comes to some other aspect of life, we have a way of, just magnifying ourselves and say, oh boy, we are giant of Africa, we can do this. And
like the Nigerian jollof.
Oh boy, and the Ghana jollof, the issue. It's funny. For me, it is funny. If we say we are giant of Africa, like we always say, it should be effective in virtually all of our sector. Not we, pointing out a sector that we know is outrightly underperforming. There is nothing to really write home about them about, and then bringing a country whose landmass, human capacity, so to say, I wouldn't say intellectual capacity, is not compared to what we have in our nation. So for me, comparing that kind of South Africa, to Nigerian, the Nigerian security is just, finding excuses for, for the issues on ground. Let's call a spade a spade. The Nigerian security is bad. We are being plagued day and night. There's no need to start comparing ourselves with, even if they are performing well. Are we the same in, in proportion? Are we the same in human capacity? So take for instance, if a nation who is not as populous as we are, considering the fact that we are the most populous black nation in the whole world, is managing their own small size population well. In terms of whatever we can call it. Not that they are even managing it so well, because they also have underlying issue in their security system. So if we now start comparing as big as we are, comparing it to a nation like South Africa, I just believe is leaving the work undone to be doing that kind of thing. If we actually want to do that, let us find people that we are almost the same in strength, in human capacity, in landmass, in economy, to start doing that. Then we say, okay, we have people that we are almost on the same edge to be, start, comparing and also.
All right, now, at this moment, I like the fact that you said, let's call a spade a spade. Now, at this point, if you talk of insecurity some years back, mostly it has been a situation fighting against the poor masses majorly. But at this point, even the heavyweights are feeling the heat. Most people feels like, okay, since the heavyweights are feeling the heat, it's going to be a positive note because maybe they will quickly run to our aid and make positive changes. But now, at this point, Nigeria has made it a norm to negotiate with terrorists, kidnappers. Our system is not functioning in the sense that we don't even have data to even track those people down. Does it mean that we are a failed nation security-wise?
Wow. We see, I think one of the things we disagree with people about is that one Messiah is going to come to save us. And until we take up responsibility by ourselves, lay hold of the spade and start doing certain things, we would. Because even the so-called elite of the society are being affected now. And because what you call the elite always will always have a way out. So if the government of a state or let's say the chief security officer of a state is thinking or proposing of dialoguing, giving a dialogue to terrorists, I think what more definition can you give to failure than that? What's failure? Not taking up your responsibility, not doing what you are meant to do. That, to me, that's what I define as failure. So if such a case is happening, there's no hope for the common man. Because now virtually everyone, in fact, there are issues. At times when I read news, I just feel bad that we are in this nation and we are pricing the life of citizen, someone who we don't know what will become tomorrow. You just see, you hear something like, they said 20 million. We have to beg them. I say, it's 10 million that we have. That 10 million self. We don't know whether we will see it. Please. So you will know that we have a whole lot of issue to deal with. The guy on the other end will say, if you don't have 50 million, we will kill. So what more definition can we give to that? And don't forget, the people that we call the elite of the society, we always find a way around themselves to do this. The issue will always be that of a common man.
Okay, I'm still going to look into a situation of accountability and follow-up, especially when we talk about apprehending these culprits. Mostly someone says when you get these kidnappers, when they are being caught, they don't look like the ransom they'll be demanding, which is a very big one for us to look into, because I want to believe somebody that is asking for a ransom of 50 million, he has been able to get 2 to 3 times of 50 million. They are supposed to be dripping and looking very nice, but mostly they look very tattered. Now, this comes with the question of heavyweights behind it, masterminds behind it. We have a lot of people doing this behind, because I want to believe for negotiation to take place, it takes somebody that is very intelligent to take negotiation to a very good level of bargain. Now, if people that we are seeing being displayed on television for them being caught, they don't look that intelligent. They don't look that well organized to pull this kind of strings. Now, what are those masterminds? Who are those masterminds? And also, mostly we get that they are caught, but we don't know what ends the whole saga. We just, okay, they have been caught, they have been apprehended, they have been shown on the television, and after then, nothing. What happens to accountability when it comes to bringing people to book, bringing justice to common man, to every man to feel like, okay, I am safe in my country, not just we've caught them. Is it just paper talk or something else is going behind the scene?
You see, let me start from this end of those who are apprehended, that they don't look like it. See, for me, I believe they are an average Nigerian man, no matter how unorganized or tattered they look, we are very intelligent people, even if we don't look like it. So if you get on the street, you see someone who is not, so to say, doing well, and you engage them in some discussions by which they've grown, especially when it comes to money matters, you will see how well they will be able to articulate certain things to you. So I would say that they might not look like it, but I'm not sure that they are not capable of doing it. Of recent, I actually watched some parade done by the Nigerian police force in Abuja, you know, about some certain people, and you know, I looked at each of those cases. These guys have done mapping. They map the area they want to, you know, perpetrate their evil before going there. So that's, to me, some sort of intelligence from them, even if they are not, if they don't look like it. Now, in the area which they don't look like it, for me, you're only looking at that area. Who supplies them gun? Armory. Because you see, there was one I watched. This guy, he was the one who did the mapping, but there is another sect of their own team that has gone. So definitely there are faces behind the scene who are running the whole operation, but it's a whole team doing it. So definitely we cannot talk down the fact that there will be heavyweight people behind these people.
I guess my question would be, would you consider our leaders or the current administration as being responsible for what is going on in the country currently, or would you just rather tag them being irresponsible as to how they tend to handle matters as regarding the country?
Well, for me, when we are talking about the current Nigerian state, let's look back at previous years, experiences that have happened. Because let's look at antecedents of what has happened. I think for me, I don't want to really be judgmental on that matter, as because we've not really had a whole year of the current administration. Because so far so good, at least looking at the 2024 budget, they did at least amazing. We're having, I think, over 11% of the budget, papers. You know, on paper. Everything in Nigeria is on paper. So even if they are being projected to be doing good, and the real sense they are not doing good, what do we say? But so far so good, at least looking at the operations of the Chief of Army Staff, General Taori Labaja, you know, the way he does his things, at least with the little we know, they are definitely trying. So, but if we say the present government have someone in here, when it's released to security, what happened to Chief Security Officer of each state? we are just putting this bunch of issue on the federal government. There is a strata by which this thing works. We have, even if they are not functional, we have the local government, we have the state government. What's happening to state government of each state? What happened to
don't forget, the governors are not responsible, in ordering soldiers around and all that. That is
definitely
some responsibility of the president.
Has been the chief.
Yes, so there's quite little they could do.
There's quite little they could do. Take for instance, if they can't give order, but there's a security vote for each state. If I'm right. So what is happening to security vote? Take for instance, in the southwestern part of Nigeria, we now have what we call community policing. How well have this thing being utilized? In this northeastern part of Nigeria, when the whole issue started, there is what we know as the Joint Task Force. The local security officials, partnering and coming together with the army, the police, and all sorts, to form a formidable team. And if they are being funded by the state government, well, definitely we should expect, to an extent, a change in the security system of of each state. And I think it happened maybe at the beginning of Amatekun, but of recent, I don't know. I really don't have a grasp of what is happening to those, for me, because most times what we see in Nigeria is the beginning of issue. Rotimi Amechi made mention of something. He said what happened to the Nigerian system of government is that citizens don't take their leaders accountable. When an issue happening, we know how to, jump and shout around and just give it a moment of time.
But talking about accountability, citizens holding their leaders accountable. You are a citizen of Nigeria. How do you hold the leaders accountable? How do you hold them accountable?
How do I hold them accountable? Number one thing is, getting informed about what is happening around you. If you are not informed, there is virtually no way you can hold people accountable. And that's why I said the other time that we have many schooled individuals but not educated. You see citizens of Nigeria who doesn't even know what is happening in their constituency. They don't know what their so-called honorable representing them in the Federal House of Representatives is doing. So how do you expect, such an individual to start holding the state? So one of the things for me, which I do, is basically to get informed about what is happening around me.
Now, if we're talking about getting informed, there's one thing to get informed. There is accountability there. There is listening here and yielding. Now, I can force a horse to the river, but you can't force the horse from drinking. Now, this is the situation of what is really playing out in Nigeria. I want to say I do not agree with you on the fact that a lot of people don't really know what is going on. They do know, but I feel like most Nigerians are fed up. Because you say this on a daily, you go to the news and they keep lamenting, you go to social media, they keep saying it, but there's no response. Nobody's coming to their aid. Nobody's doing anything. We'll be talking about insecurity before the year starts, before the beginning of the year. Look at what happened in Plateau State, massacre. Look at what is happening. Even the Federal Capital Territory is under unrest, seriously unrest.
In fact, it's like virtually all states of the federal
all states of the nation. So at this point, how do you get accountability? I think the media is doing their part. Yes, they are talking, but what about yielding, listening and yielding from the part of the government? What about our constitution? What is it saying in this regard?
Well, to me, I still believe that we will do more as citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We keep talking, but you see, every time that we have chance to pick those who are in position of authority, we are given a mandate to make a lasting solution to our issue. This issue we have on ground, so more we keep lamenting, shouting, asking the government to do, whether they respond or not, we give them the power to do. And so far we have empowered them to do. the way they use their power, you understand how our situation can be. And you would definitely see that energy, that force during the election. Everybody seems fed up. But you know, there are a whole lot of things that contribute to that. So most of the times when we are making that decision, we should definitely know as a citizen, you are making decisions for millions of other people. Not for the moment alone, for the span of time that those people are going to be in office.
Now, just before we divided into accountability in Nigeria, we're talking about the issue of responsibility. Like you said, you know, that you didn't really give a candid reply per se. You were giving examples for just for we got caught up with accountability. Yes, you spoke about antecedents, you know, and you said the Tinubu administration is more like a beep, you know, we're still in early stage. But let's not forget, it's more like a continuity, you know, it's still the APC. Just the other day we saw Keyamo, a minister in Buhari's administration, and today the Minister of Aviation. So it's more like reshuffling the same people, you know, all together. It's the same APC, you know, the same people you're dealing with. The other day we saw how President Tinubu was totally behind President Buhari during his administration, and
it's also like that.
The same. So talking about, it's safe to say antecedent has been spraying for, should I say, 9 years now? 9 years.
No, running to 9 years.
Running to 9 years. So with this, would you say for a fact that they are responsible for whatever is going on, or would they just want to target being irresponsible as to handling the affairs of this nation?
It's definitely your responsibility.
They are not responsible for whatever is going on. They are not responsible for
no, definitely they are responsible. It's irresponsibility on their side.
So it's more like they're responsible at the same time being irresponsible. Would you mind justifying that, Ted?
They are responsibly irresponsible. You know, it's just like that. They are you see, because I'm not the chief security officer of, in fact, maybe for my house. If I'm a chief security officer, I'm definitely going to be for my house. So if we call them the Grand Commander of the Federal Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, definitely that word is waiting. So definitely that means what goes before you, currently with you, you have to put everything in shape to make it better. So definitely we would say of a fact that it's the responsibility of the government,
of course,
to do that. And if they are not doing that, definitely that means they are irresponsible.
So now, in your term, we tag the Buhari administration irresponsible, and thereby spilling over to the Tinubu administration as very irresponsible as well, in your words.
Let's keep watching the current administration to see what we call.
I think he's trying to play a very wise one there. But now, we are really out of time. But we have religious issue already, also coming together with reflection of terrorism and the rest. Now, in just a minute, can you tell us how religion and ethnicity has really contributed to insecurity in Nigeria?
Time in, time out, we've had religious issue in Nigeria. And I think we have so much allowed religious to becloud our humanity. What only separates us is our belief system and our maybe tongue or color, as the case may be. But what is the common factor for each and every one of us is that we are human beings.
Of course.
And until we start placing that above all other things, we will not really get the best out of either our religion or our ethnic. So I think the main, because over time in, time out, you will see people who you will have differing opinions on issue, differing opinion on situations. So if I keep defining, having issue with people and allow you to become a blocking to seeing the reality of the humanity of the human, then definitely it's going to be resulting to issues upon issue that will, you know, be getting bigger day in, day out. So for me, I would definitely say that these two things, whether religion or ethnic, humanity should be placed above it, because year in, year out, we will always have differing issues.
Thank you very much. It has been a very interesting program with you, and also I feel like we still do have a lot of things to still talk about, because we've not really done complete justice to the whole topic, but it's been very enjoyable to have you on the program. Thank you very much. All right, viewers, I'm very sure you've heard him. Despite I feel deep down in me that we still have a lot of things to talk about, I'm very sure that little that he has brought to light, he has been able to do justice to it. And we still feel like Nigeria, as always as we believe, is a great nation. And if we work together, take away religion, take away ethnicity, let's understand from what he said, humanity should come first. And when we are human, we feel that we can help one another, do what is right and do what is supposed to be done. Nigeria is going to be the great nation that we hope, that we believe that it's supposed to be. From here, we'll be saying goodbye to you as Daybreak Africa will be coming to an end today. I remain Michael Obagiri.
Do have a wonderful day ahead. I remain Ezekiel Ogar.